Hi, it's Richard Bromwell here from Charterhouse Auctioneers. We're going to have a bit of a talk through some of the classic and vintage motorcycles coming up in our auction at Haynes on the 9th of March. Now, as usual, both myself and George Bill have been out and about seeing some fantastic bikes collections, and we've got basically 100 motorcycles coming up for auction. The earliest actually is this 1923 Royal Enfield 200. Now, as well, you know that we do like ourselves to be interesting. We like the concourse ones. We also love a project, and this is as I say, this is a project we dragged out of a Somerset shed, and a few bits and pieces missing, but you know it's going to be challenging but nice, rewarding, and that's being sold without reserve. Next up is the 1924 the Douglas TS here, and this has been extensively restored by its owner. He's a serial Douglas owner and restorer over in Wales, and this is beautifully presented and is certainly one of my favourite flat tankers in the sale. Next up, we've got a couple of Sunbeam Model 9s. Now, bizarrely, we were instructed to sell both these Sunbeam Model 9s on the same day. First up here is the Brooklyn Sunbeam Model 9, and this is followed by just the Model 9. Here we are without the Brooklyn's exhaust on it, and both really fine, good riding, good engines machines. Also from 1929 is this rather rare, and I've never seen one before, is this OK Supreme. And just look at the detail on that petrol tank. Beautifully restored. And it's a 350, here we go. And just look at the engine on that. Now, that's estimated between sort of 20 and 25,000 pounds, and certainly a very, very rare and certainly wonderful quality bike. Also from the 1930s, we've got this Douglas Endeavour. It's a 500cc. Again, it's a rare bike here. There's only, I think, there's less than 20 known to exist of this Douglas Endeavour. Here we go. Nothing to do with the Spectre Morse, not that Endeavour. And that's estimated around about the 14 to 16,000 pounds. Moving into the Second World War now, we've got this 1942 Indian 741B military. Again, this has been extensively restored by the owner. He's a serial war reenactor. He loves restoring anything military, and this one's estimated between sort of 23 and 25,000 pounds. Another bike which has got quite an interesting history. This is the 1959, the Norton Dominator Model 7. Now, generally, I don't tend to travel far, but this owner, he travels around the world constantly, and he actually found this bike as a restoration project out in Uganda. Now, anywhere past Cornwall, and I get lost. So he imported it back to this country. He had it extensively restored, and it cost him in excess of £8,000, and it's beautifully presented, this Dominator Model 7, and it's estimated at about the £8,000. Also from another collector, and he's got about 5 bikes in the sale, all fantastically restored. And this actually is the holy grail, really, of the Bonnevilles. This is the 1959, the Bonneville, the Tangerine Dream. Here we go, and fantastic restoration on this, and estimated between sort of 15 and 17,000 pounds. Again, another bike restored, and unlike the Royal Enfield we talked about earlier on, this is the 1962, the AJS, the 7R. This was restored back in 2008. Since then, it's been recorded and stayed in a private museum ever since. As you'd expect, it's a matching numbers. It was raced in period by XTT and Honda rider Tommy Robb in the 1970s, and also by Dave Hunt and Robert Hurst. And without doubt, this is probably the most important 7R in existence, an estimate on that between sort of 42 and 45,000 pounds. Another one now, moving into the 1970s with the domination of the Japanese bikes. Here we go. This is the 1971 Honda CB 750. It's a K1, immaculate. It's probably one of the best available, and it's estimated accordingly between 12 and 15,000 pounds. In reply to the rise of the Japanese market is this wonderful sort of 1973, the Triumph Hurricane, the X75. I mean, it is just absolutely fantastic. This is from the same owner as the Tangerine Dream, and is estimated between sort of 23 and 25,000 pounds. Still in Britain, here we go, with the 1978. It's the Rickman one, here we go. The Rickman Honda 750, long-term ownership. It was repainted a couple of years ago. An estimate on this one between sort of 7 and 9,000 pounds. And finally, to end up, one of the more modern bikes in the sale is a 2009 Buell 1125. It was bought, and it's only been ridden for 85 miles. Can you believe that? Only 85 miles. He'd ridden it a couple of times. That's it. It's been in dry storage, and wonderful bike there. Maybe looking for a little bit of like recommissioning. Well, there's a bit of a quick walk and talk through our classic motorcycle auction. We've got 100 bikes coming up for sale. We've got restoration projects, we've got good road bikes, we've got vintage, we've got modern super bikes, we've got Ducati, we've got Harley Davidson, you name it, it's pretty much there. And do have a look at the catalogue online, and maybe we'll see you at the sale.